Welcome to the Sales Factory. I'm your host, Coach Carroll. Hope you are doing well. Happy Monday to you. Happy Motivation Monday. Always right here in the Sales Factory, Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stream live on Facebook. You might be catching us on the podcast or over on the edited version, which is a lot more fun to watch. I might add you. Thanks to my man Andy, hooking you guys up with some edits over on YouTube's. So make sure you hop over there, hit the subscribe button, and remember you can find me right there. All social media, hashtag Coach Carroll. Today, we're continuing on the topic of the two-part series of cold calling. So I'm going to give you three techniques, if you will, or three methods, strategies that you can use on making cold calls. And if you missed the show 2 weeks ago, I was basically giving you guys the overall idea that cold calling still works, and I gave you some ideas of why it did. And then if you watched, I actually did a live cold call on the live air, I guess here on Facebook, and set an appointment for one of my guys to go do a quote. So if you didn't check that out, you can go find the recap. The best place to watch that, like I said, is over on YouTube. If you want to catch it live and interact and ask comments live, then the best place to do that is here on Facebook. So if you're watching, type in the comments there. Let me know where you're from. Hit that thumbs up. Let me know you're watching. I can see all of the comments right here live. This technology stuff is pretty amazing. So last week I was out. I actually went to Brendon Burchard's High Performance Academy. Thanks to my good buddy Keith Kalfas for inviting me to that. Man, it was spectacular. Not sure where. Let me show you guys this real quick. Here we go. A little sound effect in there for you. I took probably 80 pages worth of notes from High Performance Academy, and the thing was amazing. I shared a couple of the tips already over my Instagram. You can check that out. I got some videos over there. I think I might have put it on my story, so you might have missed out. That's really where a lot of my content is going out now. It's the easiest way for me to put out content. Rest in peace to Snapchat. A lot of people's not liking the user interface. I think they'll still come back around, but for right now, my viewership got cut in like half over there. So I think the attention's on Instagram. So for those of you that follow me, not just only for the millennial mindset and the sales factory, getting your sales game tight, but also from the marketing perspective, I want you to understand that Instagram stories, man, is pretty cool, especially with the discoverability with the hashtags. That'll be a whole nother show. But today we're talking about cold calling. Last week I was out. I apologize. And I don't know if it was from flying in airplanes, lack of sleep, or what. I came back and just crashed, man, like 14 and a half hours straight. Sleeping. But now I'm trying to recharge. I felt a little better, but man, I got this like crazy chest cold, so I'm a little bit congested. I apologize. But Brendon Burchard, man, I gotta just honor him for a second. That event was phenomenal, man. From being a speaker myself, Brendon is a guy that I've come to look up to. Keith introduced me to him, and in the beginning I was like, I don't know about this guy. He seems kind of cheesy, kind of corny. And I realized he's kind of like me. But the cool thing was he held the attention of 2,000 people in the room for 4 days. 4 days in a row. He was the only speaker. It wasn't one of these like multi-pitch fest types of events, which was really cool. And I mean, it's world class. So if you guys haven't checked him out, go check out Brendon Burchard. I just think that it's not about like trying to keep you as my audience, right? Like if you're vibing with Coach Carroll, you guys aren't going anywhere, right? Like you can go find other people. It's not like cheating on social media. You can go check out Brendon.com. He's got some really good products. Great videos, really help you with just motivation and personal development stuff. So with all that being said, let's get into some cold calling. So the first thing I want to talk about, and these are coming directly out of my book, Phenomenal Phone Calls. And for those of you that are maybe new to the channel, that don't know what Phenomenal Phone Calls is, it's a book that I released about 2.5 years ago, and it quickly went to be a bestseller on Amazon, and it was a limited release We've since, I think my team took it down, maybe not. You might be able to go get the first edition, but we've completely revamped it. The first edition was just straight words, right? No pictures, no drawings, no nothing. Now we've completely revamped it into a really nice PDF. And I'll give you guys a little special something at the end if you hang with me throughout the show here. But everything that I'm going to teach you today comes straight out of Phenomenal Phone Calls. Okay, this is how I've structured my pitches, how I create my cold calling scripts. So I'm going to share 3 methods or 3 tactics that you guys can use today, starting right now. As soon as this show's over, pick up the phone, start using them. It's going to increase your conversion. Right? We talk about that in a funnel. Like you guys see this back here. I didn't want to show you my whole funnel. I guess you can kind of see my whole funnel. I know if you screenshot it, there it is. There's the Coach Carroll webinar funnel. So this over here is talking about conversions, right? That's all I really care about is what is the conversion rate, right? How many people see an ad? How many people convert by clicking on it? How many people go to the landing page? How many opt in? What's that conversion rate, right? Cold calling is the same way. How many dials can I make to how many conversations can I get? That's conversion rate. Out of those conversations, how many people can I set an appointment with? That's a conversion rate. Out of those appointments set, how many people do I close? That's another conversion rate, okay? So you have to understand that sales, and I hate this because some things in sales, listen guys, as much as I want to say that all these old guys back here, some of them, actually most of them are dead. I think Grant, rest in peace Ziggy. But I mean, Grant's probably one of the only living guys. Like I studied the greats, man, of sales training, and that's how I upped my skill level. I quickly learned that you don't have to fall flat on your face. Like you literally can like hold on to the shoulders. You don't have to climb up. You don't have to be taller. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I'm just holding on to the shoulders, man, and going from shoulder to shoulder to shoulder of the greats, right? Russell Brunson's, he's got a quote in his webinar that he did. He says, you know, you can normally see the pioneers because they're laying face down. They got arrows in their back, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And the great thing about it is cold calling has been around forever. And much like we're seeing in traditional media was, you know, like this, bloop, it got big, and now we're starting to see a decline, right? And I think eventually it'll come back around. Probably not. I don't think anybody's going to buy TVs. I think the what do they call them? Gen Zs or Gen Ys, Gen Xs, they're not going to buy television. I just don't think they are. If you do buy a television, the only reason they're buying it is to play gaming on. Everything is going to mobile device. So what's that mean for you when you're trying to make cold calls? It means that this thing works dialing people better than it ever has because the new era of salespeople, and listen, I fight it every single day. I don't fight it. I enjoy it, but I help coach people through this is that they have to get on the phone. Our society is becoming so introverted that we're having a hard time communicating with people, right? It's difficult for people to be removed from society, playing games, being on social media, not having that one-to-one content or contact, and then be 100% comfortable or expect them to be able to go in and make 30, 40, 50, 100 dials in an hour on a phone. It's not going to happen, right? This is something you've got to get acclimated to, but none of that matters if you don't do my first strategy or my first method that I'm going to share with you today. You have to know exactly why you're making the call. If you don't know why you're picking this phone up to dial, right? If you're not 100% convinced and convicted that what you're talking to that person about matters and you know that you need to get them to that point, then you're going to and ahs until the person either hangs up on you or talks you off the phone. So what's 100% conviction mean? It means you need to know why you're calling that person. And for me, the way I train, and we talk about this a little bit in Phenomenal Phone Calls, is that you have to set the appointment. The number one mistake most people make when they try to do cold calls is they try to sell over the phone, okay? So for instance, let's just take pressure washing services, window cleaning services. Ring, ring, like, yeah, hey man, just calling. Do you guys need any cleaning done? And like, it doesn't matter. Do you need insurance? Do you need real estate? Do you need banking services? Do you need a bubblegum vending machine? It doesn't matter. If you try to make that pitch over the phone, you're literally like trying to hit a home run, right? Just get on base. It's of like the dating game, right? Like you got to go to first base first, right? You got to hold hands first. And then you got to hug, and then, it'll escalate from there. But you have to get to first base first. What that means is, look, man, I know you're super busy. So am I. I probably caught you at a bad time. I was just wondering, can I get 15 minutes? Probably not even 15 minutes. Can I get 5 minutes of your time later on today or sometime this week? That's it. I'm in and out, man, that first phone call. Can I get some time in and out? Now, last week, when I made that dial and I set the appointment for John, I was doing that to show you guys, like, that's me setting an, like, let me come there to your office, do the quote and the measurement and estimate, right? If you just want to set a quote estimate, like, that is the easiest appointment in the world to set. Like, if you're selling on a local market. Now, for us, like when we're selling our ad tech services, that's a little more difficult because now we're setting the appointment to pitch the service and give the contract, right? And actually, we send the contract beforehand, but we're setting the appointment to pitch the service and then the appointment to follow up. And so it gets a little bit more difficult because you're not face-to-face. And people still like doing business with people, okay? It's just how we are. But if you don't know that you're trying to set that appointment right out the gate, if you don't know that that is the reason that you're making the cold call, you're going to be fucked so bad. Like, it's just not going to work out. You're going to crash and burn. Right? If you're feeling this, hit the thumbs up. I miss Periscope, man. Periscope, you could do the little fingers. You guys remember Periscope? Throw up the hearts. Maybe I'll need to just get another phone in here, start streaming on Periscope too, because I miss those hearts. Shout out Smart Water, drinking it. That'd be paying me for it. So that's strategy number one, right? You got to understand that you have to know why you're making the cold call. Okay. Once that's all squared away, once we know that, once we know exactly why we're making the call, then comes the dial, right? And we talked about this, I think 2 weeks ago, called it 3x3. And if not, this comes out phenomenal phone calls too. I just recorded the brand new audio book like 2 weeks ago before I went to Brennan's event. So we got that back yesterday as well. So pretty excited about that. So 3x3, I'll give you the strategy is 3 minutes worth of research and then let's make the dial, right? Like give me 3 minutes. You can research it up, study it. If it's a new prospect, give me 3 minutes and you got to make the dial. You have to be aware of what I call call reluctance. And that means you're just trying to find something, anything. It doesn't matter. Just something other than picking up the phone and dialing it. Right. And so this happens with low level salespeople is they don't want to make the dial. And here's what it really comes down to. You fear the rejection. You fear the person on the other end of the phone saying no to you because in society, especially in American culture, that is what our biggest fear is that fear of rejection and not being accepted. Right. And so you're putting yourself in a mentally and psychologically demanding position by being on the phone all day. It's not an easy job, and please don't ever skew my enthusiasm towards it as meaning that it's easy, because it's not. This is something that's very difficult. It's right up there with public speaking because you're talking to someone that doesn't know who you are, and point blank, that's a difficult conversation to have. So I'm sitting here on my end. It looks like the picture is a little pixelated, so apologize if the stream's coming through a little weak. What's not weak is my cold call game, and that's what we're helping you with today. So if you're just tuning in, this is the Sales Factory. I'm Coach Carroll. It's a little after 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday, we're right here. If you're on the podcast, if you haven't downloaded the podcast, I got people Snapchat me and Instagram story me all the time, like send me DMs like, bro, podcast was fire this week. Sales Factory was awesome. When's the Sales Factory's new episode coming out? So it's every Monday. We put it out. We launch it on Friday by the end of the week. So appreciate you guys tuning in. It means the world to me. I love coming on here and just pouring into you guys, right? Like there's I think it was a Zen monk guy that said that you can only fill your cup up until it's full, right? And then you have to pour out into others and fill it up again. So like, this is why I do this. I learn things, I do things, and then I teach things. And then I go back and repeat again. It's like I climb the top of the mountain, and then I come back down to get you guys. I'm like, oh, we got to go to the top of the mountain. We go to the top of the mountain. And I go climb another one, and I come back down to get you guys. Take you with me. It's just awesome to be able to give and serve, and to be able to look into this camera and know that like hundreds of people are going to see this video, man. It's amazing. It's so cool and so humbling. So I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in and chilling with me for 20, 30 minutes. Help you improve your sales game and help you grow your business, right? I'm all about team entrepreneurs and primarily team millennial entrepreneurs, right? Because we're the next wave of employers, right? A little side note here. Like, I truly believe, and I put this on video several times, I'll just say it again, we're about to go through the 1920s again, right? The dawn of like proprietorship. Don't look at the media. Don't worry about Zucks like fucking with your data. Listen, privacy is not a big issue, right? If you don't have anything to hide, there's no worries about privacy, okay? You only have to worry about security, right? Like, we don't want him losing our password. We don't want him losing our driver's license number, our credit card information, things like that. That's a security issue. But privacy, like, I don't give a fuck if you know that I like Game of Thrones, right? Like, everybody likes Game of Thrones or Westworld, right? Tori loves Westworld. Can't wait for that to come back on. So, and advertisers use that shit. Like, they've been using that forever. If you don't believe me, hello, postcards. Like, if you're gonna mail to a certain neighborhood, you're using the information that you live in a nice neighborhood. Send you postcards. Like, that's not privacy. Like, it had a gated community. I still send postcards there. So there's a lot of things that are going on in the world right now, but I truly believe that we're about to go through the 1920s again. Entrepreneurship is about to run rampant. See, Matthew said, thanks, DJ. Appreciate you. Dude, I appreciate you. Thanks so much. And make sure you guys hit that share button. Don't keep me a secret. Like, let's share this with everybody. I'm not selling shit. You don't have to pay for this program. It's, it's like PBS. It's free. I'm just trying to live up to being Mr. Rogers. Maybe one of these days I'll change my shoes before I do the show. But I digress. Anyway, back to it. 1920s. We're really about to go into this. Like, entrepreneurship is going mainstream. Being a proprietor is going mainstream. There are people that are literally making wedding signs and quitting their job because they can sell this shit on Etsy and like go full time. Like, there are people that are utilizing social media to sell their services. And now they don't have to, be in this like cubicle in the PNC tower and hate their life. Like, there's just a lot of dynamics that are shifting, and I think that's just going to keep pumping to millennial entrepreneurs. And I love it, man. I'm so excited about it. But some of the things about business are tried and true, like cold calling. It's never going to die. You have to adapt. And then you have to overcome, right? Like, that's just part of evolution. That's not anything that's like, oh my gosh, came down to the heavens and I made it up. It's just part of business. And so a lot of these books back here that I've read, I've learned, and I'm like, man, these books are saying the same shit over and over and over and over again. And at first I was like, excuse me, these guys are just copying each other. But it's not. The facts are the facts. And the bedrock is the bedrock, and like the way that it is like you can't get away from what I like to call the fundamentals, right? And the fundamentals in business is you have to learn sales, you have to learn marketing, right? And so selling with the phone, and I shared this on the last video on last week's show, is that this has closed me my 10 biggest projects ever. The 10 biggest jobs, projects, invoices, however you want to classify them, sales, whatever it needs to be. The 10 biggest ones, they all started with a cold call. And so if you think that your potential is limited, if you think that you're not making the money you deserve to make, if you think that you aren't where you want to be in life, all you have to do is pick this thing up and dial, because all the people out there in the world that have one of these, you can contact them and they'll give you their money if you'll provide a service, a product, or an idea that betters their life. That is where we are going now. No frivolous spending. You're going to see, I really do believe that you're going to see this downtrend in frivolous spending. Like, honestly, unless you're just uber fucking rich, a Ferrari or a Lambo makes zero fucking sense. Like, if you're gonna go drop $300,000 on a fucking Lambo and then say, "Hey, it's here in my garage," like, I'm just kidding, Ty. If you're gonna spend that money, I would much rather see you take $300,000 and go invest it in a let's see, what's a multiple? Call it $300,000. Actually, a Lambo probably going to be Lambo Ferrari might even be up in the 400,000 range. You're talking a $1.5-2 million multifamily or storage unit property that then turns around and pays you a 15% cash on cash dividend to that $1.5 million. Like, it's crazy, right? Like, it's stupid, really, unless you're just at that level. I mean, I know a guy here in town that's doing almost $200 million in his companies, and like, it's like a normal dude, a regular vehicle. Because what I'm learning about, higher up I get and the more successful I become and the access that I'm gaining these people, and I feel like it's my duty to come back and tell you. And I'm gonna bring this back to cold calling. Okay, stay with me here. My duty is to find this information and then share it with you, because I didn't have wealthy family members. I didn't have wealthy neighbors. Like, I mean, my dad busted ass to put us in the middle class, right? And so to not have access to be able to talk to those people, like, you don't know what you don't know. And school sure as fuck isn't going to teach us that. So I had to go learn from these wealthy guys. And what I'm learning is that when you get to that uber successful level, like, that kind of stuff just doesn't really matter. Now, if you have a passion for cars, like if Ferraris is your thing, and I got a buddy that's Ferraris is his thing, he didn't have one to show off. He's got 3. So, like, if that's your thing, like that's your thing. Like, I'm cool with it. But I just think we need to realign what our perspective is in business. Like, you literally can pick up this phone, right? We're going back to cold calling now. You pick up this phone, sell your service to, especially B2B. If you're going B2B, this is the best way to do it, right? B2C, I still think Facebook ads, hands down. But if we're talking B2B and cold calling, this right here will make you some fat stacks of cash. You just have to get over the fear that you have inside of here. It's holding you back. That's it. So, method number 1, you gotta know exactly why the hell you're calling. Okay. Number 2, we talked about the 3x3 with the research. That was kind of weak, so I'm gonna give you another one. We'll call this number 2, part 2. You have to understand that when you make a cold call, when that phone is very first answered, there's a couple things that go through the person's mind, right? Like, even if this phone's ringing right now, there's a couple things that would go through my mind. Do I know who's calling me? Caller ID. If not, I instantly think it's a sales call. If I'm thinking it's a sales call, I'm thinking somebody's about to waste my time, right? If you get someone to pick up the phone, and this is why I like calling B2B, because if you call cell phones and the person doesn't know, excuse me, they're not going to pick up the phone, more than likely, right? But if you call an office where there's a front desk person, they're going to answer. That's their job. Like, so all these stats that are like 95% of cell phone or 95% of phone calls don't get answered. Bullshit. If you call an office, it gets answered every fucking time, because the boss standing in the back is paying homeboy or homegirl up front to answer the phone when it rings, right? So don't believe that bullshit that's like nobody answers the phone anymore. No, nobody answers this phone anymore. You got to work your way. Again, remember, changing, adapt, and overcome. So, all right, cool. I'm not going to call their cell phone. I'm going to call the front office, okay? And so what that means is I'm going to call the front office, and when Monica answers and she says, "Thanks for calling ABC Supply Company. This is Monica," I'm going to do what my one of my old mentors, Chuck, taught me. It's called a voice up. You say, "Monica, right? Rick." So my voice elevates, and it's got this question mark at the end of it, right? Like, you want to read their name as if it had a question mark at the end, right? Josh, try it right now. Like, I don't know, maybe you're driving down the road or something. Please don't just drive down the road. But maybe you're sitting in your office, right? It's 4:30 in the afternoon. You're like, I'm done for the day. I'm tuning into the Sales Factory. And so say it. It's like whatever your name is, Rick, James, Josh, DJ. Like, you gotta up that voice tone. And what that does is it makes them perk up their ears. And when you say it, you got to go silent, completely silent. They're going to go, "Yeah." That voice up technique will dramatically improve your connectability and your punch, because now those people are plugged in for what you're about to say to them. Okay. Now, next thing is you got to know what they'll say. So you got to punch down that opening line. It's got to be something with power. It's got to be impactful. And I teach you how to do that in the Phenomenal Phone Calls book. So that's number 2, voice up. Part 2, part B, whatever you want to call it. Andy, you'll figure out something to put in there for that. And so let's talk about number 3, okay? Because I told you I was going to give you 3 tips. Actually, Amanda told me I need to give you guys 3 tips. So shout out to Amanda. You guys got to give her much love. She's the one that helps me put these shows together every week. So I really couldn't do this whole Coach Carroll thing without my awesome team. So a lot of stuff goes to them. I'm just the guy that gets on here and downloads my brain for you guys. So thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Andy, for helping me with all this stuff. So tip number 3 is you always have to have a specific next step. You have to know what you're going to do next, right? Like, good job, Buckwheat. You got through. You got past the gatekeeper. You got to the guy. You set the appointment. Now what the fuck are you going to do? A lot of times people are like, set the point. Okay. I'm going to tell you, okay? So here's what happens. When you are on the phone and you can get the person to set a call, right? The best thing you can do, you're going to get objections, all right? Just agree and overcome those. And like, I make that sound super easy. I know it's not. So let me digress on that for a second. When someone gives you an objection, DJ, I'm busy right now. I have time to talk. Dude, totally understand. Like, absolutely. I get it. I'm calling you out of the blue. I didn't think that you were going to have free time. Like, you're a successful business owner, right? You're a busy vice president of operations. You're a super busy facility maintenance. You got a maintenance coordinator. You've got a big facility to take care of. Look, man, I'm just trying to make your life easier, okay? Do you have 5 minutes later on today that you could carve out a quick phone call with me? If not, what's a day later on this week that works better for you? Right? Because now I'm like, here it is. And if you say no to that, well, here, man, just tell me what else you want. It's like you want a cheeseburger, and if you don't like cheeseburgers, just tell me where else you want to go eat. And I promise it won't be as hard as trying to decide where to eat with your girlfriend or your wife, right? That's like the never-ending conversation. You have to understand that when you get to the end, and they're like, yeah, sure, man, sounds fantastic. We can talk next Friday at 4:15. Your level of professionalism that comes after that will lay the groundwork for what is expected of you, and then what they expect, better yet, of the competition, okay? So most people don't realize is that professionalism happens before the sale. Customer service happens after something goes wrong, okay? A lot of times people get those two like interlaced. Customer service and professionalism are completely separate. Professionalism is how you handle yourself all the way leading up to the point that the customer says, yes, I want to do business with you. Because you can't service them. They're not your customer. They're not your client. You can't do anything. That is all professionalism. That's sending a calendar invite to let them know. That's sending them an agenda for the call, sending them over a list of references ahead of sending the quote. You guys have to rethink how you're selling and how you're unpacking this stuff that has just been laid into your mind and how you think it's supposed to be done. The most dangerous thing an entrepreneur can do, and especially a millennial entrepreneur, because the market is changing dramatically quicker than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? Because of technology, everything was at a higher rate of speed. You have to understand as a millennial entrepreneur that you need to be looking how you do your business and how your business functions all the time, because a change in market dynamic over here might be able to shift how this part of your business works. Now all of a sudden it just catapults into the sky, right? My buddy Keith talks about it all the time. He says it's not linear, it's geometric. And I was like, oh man. And I was watching Iron Man the other day, and he's like, and it blows up. That's how business is, right? But you have to understand that what you do after you get that appointment greatly affects the amount of professionalism you project into the entire sales process. Okay. So if you send this guy a handwritten note or this girl a handwritten note after you get off the phone, thanks so much for taking my call. Look forward to our call next week. Out. Cost you what, 85 cents? But the impact that makes is dramatic, and the ability, the influence that you'll have on these people is huge. So those are my 3, 4, 5 tips. I don't know. That was a lot. My voice is about gone. So I got to wrap it up here. Any questions? If you guys are watching, I know we got a couple people on here watching right now live. Drop them down in the comments and let me know. If you're listening on the podcast, appreciate you. YouTube, drop me a comment. Let me know where you're from. Love it. YouTube's been picking up, man. Been picking up probably 10, 15 subscribers a week. So we're just building this momentum, man. Chug along. You know, been about 4 years now of doing this, putting content out. I was watching some of my old YouTube videos the other day. Come a long way, man. and that just goes to show you that no matter where you're at in life, it doesn't determine where you can go. It just determines where you start. Nito Cobain said that, right? It doesn't determine where you're going to get to. It just merely determines where you start at, right? We all have a different starting point. You know, it's when I moved out of my house, like I was homeless for a couple of weeks. Like that was a starting point. Like you can get past that stuff with the right mental strength, right? I call that the millennial mindset. And we are some of the most resourceful people I think this world has ever seen. And having this technology in our fingertips makes business awesome. So Matthew said that when's your audio book coming out? So Matthew, the audio book is actually going to be on the back end of the funnel. So you're gonna have to buy the new release, which is the 2.0 release of Phenomenal Phone Calls, and then you'll be able to get the audio book back there. But if you guys are interested, leave a comment below. I'll give you a special link once this thing launches, and you'll be able to get the book, the ebook, 50% off, and the audiobook 50% off. So as for a special for watching the show here. So appreciate you guys. Matt said he enjoyed it on the Kindle version. So yeah, you already got on the Kindle version. Sorry, man, gotta buy it twice to get the audio version. Just how the funnels work, right? No, I really enjoy you guys. Let me come into your life every week, help motivate you, help inspire you, help educate you, train you, increase your knowledge base so that you can then go out there, increase your income, make your lives better, do it for yourself, for your family, for your community. And really, I just think that this just creates a ripple effect of just making the world a better place. So, if you're interested in the ebook, drop a comment down below. And if you're not on my email list where you're getting my constant updates, man, we throw out, when the video goes live, I send you a little notification for that. We send out some motivational quotes every once in a while, articles, just resourceful stuff. If you're following me here on Facebook, you know the kind of content I put out. It's curated stuff, it's just all mine. I'm trying to sell shit all the time. I just want you to grow as a millennial entrepreneur, because I think ultimately we have the ability over the next 30, 40 years to really make this world better than it's ever been. I truly believe that in my heart. So if you want to check out the book, if it's right for you, fantastic. If not, totally understand. Everybody's got tight budgets and everybody's at a different place in life. I remember there was a point in time where I couldn't afford a $7 ebook, but now I can. So but I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you liked watching it here on Facebook, smash that share button. Leave me a comment. Let me know where you're from. Thanks for tuning in on the podcast. Until next time, I'm Coach Carroll. This is The Sales Factory. See you guys.